Good evening, guys. This is Leffen coming to you with another video. Well, it's actually in the United States, it's sort of more like afternoon, but well, you get the point. All right, so what we're going to be going over today, I have a few different videos that I'm going to do. I know it's been a while since I've done videos, but it's also where I need to have a new subject matter in order to actually go through and do a video. I don't want to just have it to where, oh, you guys are going to watch me play and everything because that would get really boring. I mean, granted, I am going to do that at some point, but not yet. All right, for this video is going to be all about Silver Alt. So I'm going to do a Silver Alt video, then I'm going to turn around and do a Merc Exchange video, and then a few others and everything that have been on my mind for the past few days. All right, with this being said, for the Silver Alt, first off, the reason why you do it. Now, I know I've done another video where I've covered a silver alt, but this is going to be where I'm showing you the final version of a silver alt, at least that I'm willing to do. Okay, the reason why you do a silver alt is to make it to where your main account can basically concentrate on just gaining levels and going through and upgrading your whether or not it's your research or your might or whatever, but your main should be where your focus is. But here's the thing though, you cannot survive in this game for very long if you're not going to have an alt account. I mean, you could do like oh, I'm going to keep a low level fun account and just play. But if you want to be competitive and you want to actually be one of the bigger players in the game, you're going to need alternate accounts that you create purely to help out your main. So I've seen where some people have talked about, like, oh, well, I have this account and that account and that account and all this other kind of stuff. So, like, let me show you an example, right? So for this is the clan that I'm currently in. I got my Ravens Teacher 3, which is my account that I'm currently showing you. Now, I know you guys know me as Leffinen and everything, but my alternate accounts are called Ravens Teacher, and it just goes up in number. Right now, I have 4 accounts in total, but I'm going to be going up to probably 5 very soon. All right, for this, I have my one account and everything, Ravens Teacher 3, that's all the way the heck down here as far as like might wise. It's not that powerful and everything, but it does the job. And then I have another one, which is another Silver Alt account. That's my Ravens Teacher 2. That's what came from Kingdom 500 when I was doing that whole like Beowulf challenge and everything. It made you create a new one just purely to start all the way the heck on over. So that's my other account that I basically use. Now, this Ravens Teacher 3 is a silver alt, but this one is as complete as I'm going to have. My Ravens Teacher 2 is also a silver alt at this point, but it is a G8, almost G9, which means that I have it to where I could go get powerful crypts and other stuff in order to help supply the others. And if I really want to, I could just do that, extra bit of work in order to try and get it up to G9. And then it could be a CP exchange from my main on over to my silver alt. So for this, right, I have 2 main silver alts at this point, and I'm developing a third, which is about to go into like the whole process mode. But this is a complete version of it. Okay, so if you notice, I still have a lot of buildings that are at level 19 when it comes down to my building supplies, because if you have multiple accounts, your main probably is getting so much building supplies. And for me, it is especially true. I have probably like I get like over 1 billion in each building supplies a day just from being in my main account. Now, that's because I'm in a really, really powerful clan and everything. If you're in a clan in a kingdom to where you're not getting that much and everything, then yes, you probably need to be going through and like, these don't help a lot. The building supplies, buildings like whether or not it's your stone cutter or your foundry or your lumber mill or whatever, they don't help a lot, but they do help. But if I'm being honest and everything, I'm not going to waste resources on an alt account on building supplies because at that point you probably don't even need it. So I concentrated mainly on this account by just going through and working on the mansions. So what I did was I got up to level G6 for my guardsmen, and it was mainly centered around. I didn't do Arachne or whatever. I did like straight up Armageddon, the event. I did Ragnarok, and I did Hellforge. Those are the three accounts that I concentrated on in order to get my hero as high as I possibly could, which therefore unlocks the ability to get my capital up to a certain level. Now, for this, a level 35 capital will get you to where you can have your mansions at level 39. So that is a really, really good level to be at. When you hit 40, it ends up being to where you pay this huge amount of gold, which I think is like, I mean, granted, it's in blueprints, but I mean, it's really gold. But it ends up being to where I think it's like 18, oh gosh, I want to say like 18,000 in blueprints. And the only way that you're doing that is you're having to spend 150,000 in gold each time in order to get one of these up. If you multiply 150,000 times 23, mansions, that is a huge, huge number. I think it's somewhere around like 400,000 that therefore I would be spending on, I'm sorry, not 400,000, 4 million in gold on just going through and trying to get these mansions up to that level. So I was able to do it. We're at 39. It's a good point. I don't have to try and get my hero up anymore. The other thing about it is your hero has to be at level 140 in order for you to hit where you could get this capital up to level 35. Therefore, it unlocks your mansions up to 39. If I was to want to get my mansions up to level 40, I would have to get the capital up to level 40, which means that I also have to do the academy and all the other things attached to it, which, is like 12 different buildings just to be able to get it to where I would be up to that level. And that's something I'm not willing to do. And also, my hero would have to be at level 200. So I can be a G, like get get my hero on up to 140, 145, and be happy. And especially like I think the sweet spot for most people would be hero up to 145. If your hero's at 145, everything I'm about to show you works beautifully. So pay attention. We're going to go through it exactly how it shows. Now, when you're going through and like, getting your guardsmen up, I am not going through and researching anything else. If you look at research technologies, I'm going to break them down one by one. And granted, this is going to be a little bit long of a video and everything, but I'm going to show you exactly how far I went. So let's go with guardsmen first. With guardsmen, you need carrying capacity in order to make it to where your guys can transport it to your main. Either that or your main, you have to be willing to attack your lower, alts in order to have it to where you could get the silver from it without having to pay the taxes on it, which is fine. But if you're living in a bubble like my main is, because I have so much darn silver at every single darn point. Like right now I have 7 billion in silver just sitting in my main. And I'm not going to go through and expose that because clans like GOD, OST, MI2, IY2, and all these other kind of really high up clans, they watch my kingdom expressly for any time that anybody's bubble goes down in my kingdom, they are immediately attacked. You could get put a timer to it. It's usually within 5 minutes you'll have an attack on you if your bubble drops in my kingdom. So there is no way in the world that I'm going to expose, even though I have a huge army in my main, I'm not going to expose it to by attacking my alts in order to get the silver from it in order to not pay the taxes. I'd rather pay the taxes and not risk losing the silver in the process. But if you notice, I got my guy all the way up to guardsman carrying capacity, level 4 right here, up to 9 out of 10. Now, I do have some valor points left over and everything, and I am going to try and go through and increase it a little bit more, see if I could get on over to this one and everything, and see how high I could get in that. But this is basically like you either get to guardsman carrying capacity 4, or if you're, if you have the extra valor points, which I do, I might be able to get this up to like maybe 4 out of 10, maybe a little bit higher. But the only problem is that therefore I'm going to have to go through and increase this one. I'm going to have to increase this one. And so I'm going to be wasting a huge amount of valor on these two, and I might not get it to where I'm getting that much in the carrying capacity over here. So if I get up to carrying guardsman carrying capacity 5, that'd be awesome. But if I don't, I don't. So be it. All right. So with that being said, carrying capacity, make sure you get it about very high. You're probably going to have to get to G6 anyways, just to be able to go through and create an effective silver alt that would therefore allow you to get up to level 39 for your mansions. So that's where I went. Notice, specialist, I did dang near nothing. The only reason why I did anything with this was just to make it to where a clan would be willing to take me in with my CP that I went through and I basically threw at my specialists, because some of them are like, oh, you need guardsman 6 and specialist 6 in order to go through and get to this clan. And I'm like, well, I got guardsman, 6, but I don't have specialist 6. Are you still willing to let me in? And sometimes they'll be like, yeah, sure. So I threw some into here, but I much rather would have put that into army modernization. So if you can get by without putting any CP into specialists, don't put any in there. Engineer Corps, absolute waste. I did absolutely nothing with it. The only reason why I did these was just purely for the research in order to get the daily, research done. Monsters, I did absolutely nothing with and everything. I attacked purely with the mercs whenever I did the different packages or whatever. Granted, that's a way to spend, like, if you can spend the money in order to create a silver alt, it's well worth it in the long run. Because if you're one of those players that actually is going to be committed to this game past like a year, that is a huge difference in the like how quickly you can get elevated in order to get that silver coming in and flowing. Like right now for my account, I'm getting 1.9 million per hour, and that's a dang good chunk of, coin that I'm basically getting. If you multiply that by how many hours in a day, 24, let's just say it's 2 mil just to make the math easier. We're talking 48 million roughly a day. So I'm going to be getting probably around 46 million in silver a day. Multiply that by every single day of the week, or every single week of the year, or every single day in the year, and that becomes a huge amount of silver that you're basically going to be getting per day in order to help out, your overall account. So monsters did nothing with it. Archaeology I did just because of the fact that I wanted to try and see if I could get up to basically to where I could hit Crips level 20. And that was only to make it to where I could actually get better speed ups in order to make the process a little bit faster. If you want, you can probably stop to where you don't even get that far in archaeology. I think the like furthest that you really need to go would probably be this crypt exploration efficiency 3. That would definitely get you to where you're getting a level 15 crypts, and you could do the rare and the also the epics, and therefore that would allow you to basically get the 1 day speed ups or the 15-hour speed ups. And the biggest thing that people don't realize about this game is the speed ups will kill you. That is the huge money breaker and everything in this game is the speed ups. So Crips is a good idea, but if you're in a really good clan, then maybe you don't have to worry about archaeology so much, because the clan is basically carrying the load for you. So you might be able to get away with not having to go all the way up to here, but this would probably be your sweet spot as far as how far you go. Let's see. Going down to blacksmithing. I did blacksmithing purely to get enchantments and also to get materials to where I could get a better saving opportunity. So I went to combining enchantments 3. This would probably be where I would recommend most people to stop, would be right here, because you do get a good amount per day off of just having like basically your Helen, your Aurora, and also your gosh, I forgot his name. Oh, Farhad, and having them all with basically those. Gosh, I am so bad with names now. That sucks. Oh well. Let me pull it up. Make it easier on my life. It always does this. If you ever have a like one window open, whatever you're playing on the PC, and okay, so for this type of armor and everything, the vestment of whatever. See how it goes through and adds to your silver production and everything. And ideally, I would put a gem in here that would help out with that. And if you're in a really good clan, you're probably getting these. But if you're in a clan that's like not that great, I mean, like this right here would be what I would add in. So like basically just stash that on over there. All right, cool. And then I do have this, so I can also add this to another piece of armor. So with that being said, let's do that. And that's really the only reason why I went through and started to basically like go into blacksmithing to where, oh, no wonder. I thought I was at 2 million. Yeah, there we go. Put Farhad in, have him with the right equipment and everything else like that. And yeah. I mean, Grant, there's little finishing touches and everything I have to do. There, I'm at 2 million per hour. Okay, cool. All right, so blacksmithing, you can do it just to get the enchantments and everything. And for me, with my enchantments and all, I have gotten a good bit because I did spend some money on the game and everything. The materials wise, like my clan is pretty decent and all, so I have gotten on up there and everything. So my goal would basically be to make more, or as this comes in, I can upgrade the armor. Like my account may be to where I don't have to progress any further, but it's also to where I don't want to get out of the clan that I'm in. So because right now I'm gaining extra bonuses out of being in that clan, and there are still active players in it. I will stash this account in a silver alt, basically a dead clan, but it has really good clan buildings at some point soon, but not yet. But this would be what I would use, the Imperial Silk. And then you could combine it when you go to. All right, let's go to crafting equipment. So, Honored Ruler. My goal for Honored Ruler would basically be everything of an orange level or above and everything. Now, if you're in a really super good clan and with one of your silver alts and they don't mind you being in there, like, you might be able to strike a deal with the leader, be like, okay, I'm not going to really progress. I'm not going to be hitting the darn, ancients or anything. But are you willing to let me stay in the clan and everything if I contribute, like, let's say 50 million a week? So it might be to where, yes, I'm paying silver coin extra in order to basically stay in a clan above what other people might be paying. Like my clan for that I'm in for this one is 15 million a week. But if I was to be like, hey, I'm not going to hit the ancient and everything, I know you guys have a requirement for that. But if I go through and I do, let's say, 50 mil a week and everything, would you be willing to let me stay in? That might be a good way in order to basically have it to where you could stay in a clan, you could get the bonuses from it. I mean, even if they're killing ancients and everything, you could probably do more than 50 million a week. But have it to where you're still gaining extra silver in the process. Because if you go into a silver alt clan where nobody does any activity, no ancients, no nothing, you're getting diddly squat from the clan per week. So what I can do is I could basically be like, okay, the extra amount that I'm getting per week by being in this clan is, let's say, 100 million. Out of that 100 million, hey, if I donate an extra 50 million, I'm giving up half of the profits and everything that I would be getting, but I'm getting still that extra 50 million per week in order to make it to where staying in this clan is worth it. So that might be a good way for you guys to basically stay in a decent clan. You might still be getting different materials pieces in order to get your level up and everything, but it might be to where it's like not hurting you overall in the process. So ideally, if this has it to where I can get this up, I would like to have it to where I have orange level armor for my honored ruler across the board. And that will also increase my overall, like if you look at silver wise, right now I'm at purple, so I'm getting 12%. I have that on 6 pieces for my hero, 3 pieces for each captain. So that is 15 pieces of armor. 15 pieces of armor at 12%. If you guys do the math and everything, that's 180% increase. If I can get all of that on up to orange, that would be 5% extra times the 15, 75% more. So that is a huge bump between 180 and 255%. Like that 255% and everything would be really nice. Now, granted, if I had, godlike, that would be awesome. But yeah, that's probably not going to happen. So blacksmithing is worth it in order to look into, in order to have it to where you get that enchantment saving, material saving chance and everything. But if it's to where like, hey, you're really, really tight on Valor, then don't really worry about it. I mean, like, ideally, I would have it to where Hellforge, I would just hit the crap out of it and get it to where all my armor for my dudes would basically be orange or red level. That would probably be the best way. All right, Guardsman 2, Specialist 3, or I'm sorry, Specialist 2, Engineer 2, and Monsters. Don't even think about it. Let's go into Army Mod. So logistics, I did do some in logistics and everything in order to try and get it to where I can max out whatever I could. I don't need to gather resources on a world stage. Crypt range, I don't really care. If you're doing low level crypts anyways, level 15, you're finding them within 100 to 200 kilometers. So this will never be an issue. Troop marching range, don't care. That's only really worth it if you're trying to get mercenaries off kingdom. Same thing with that. So caravan speed and also caravan carrying capacity. These two would be great in order to max out. Everything before this is completely is mandatory, but these two you definitely need to max these out. So if I were you, I'd probably stop it here for logistics. If we're talking about monster boosts, I did nothing because there's no point. I didn't do any monsters. If we're looking at economy, notice for economy, I went heavy all the way through the middle and everything. I don't care about sacred potions because I wasn't reviving that many guys as it is. Warehouse capacity definitely need to be increased and keep going, going, going. And I got all the way down to silver and food production level 10 for each. Research speed, I don't think that you really need to go through and do and everything. That's completely up to you, but I wouldn't. I mean, like, you don't need to. If you want to, you can. If you don't, you don't. It depends upon how many Valor points you have and whether or not it's really worth it for you. Economy is not an expensive section. It just isn't. It's really, really cheap. So it's very well worth it in order for you to go through and do this at a very early stage. Like, if you're looking at doing a silver alt, make sure that your economy section is done maybe not first, but it needs to be done at the exact same speed as you're doing your guardsman section. So maxing this all the way out to here would probably be a very good idea and everything. But at the very least, get silver production up to 10. That would be awesome. Army modernization, I did a little bit in, but it's not really anything that's really super, like important or whatever. The clan that I'm in, they went through and they did they do a weekly, hey, let's do a CP run or whatever. I think I did it like twice. And then after that, I didn't care. I'm like, I don't care. I got other priorities, people. I'm sorry. So that would basically be my whole entire recommendation as far as research wise. Buildings wise, the next section that we'll go into is your hero. So your hero, you need to have it to where the honored ruler for all the different, sets of armor, have it to where these guys all have, basically their honored ruler sets on also. I will be improving this blue, so I know it's blue versus purple, but, so be it, whatever. Let's go into the hero himself. So tactics. If you notice for tactics wise, I basically maxed out certain sections. Like I initially was doing battle tactics and I did some expert battle tactics. But then once I got the amount of Valor points and the amount of experience in the game that I was happy with, and I decided to shut the fighting down, Then you go through and you go to reset talents and you use one of these, and then it has it to where it all goes down to 0. And then you could basically put all the points, start with economy, get that to where you basically hit the 790 mark, hit your archaeology. I went up to 434. That's only because of the fact that I had a little bit extra on the levels that I went up to. You don't need 434 in all honesty. If you go to like 200, I'll show you exactly what you should or should not do. And the battle tactics, I don't need any points here, but I really didn't need them down here, so I didn't really care. All right, so let's go to economy because that's the one that really matters. If you notice, I didn't do anything with production of building resources. Caravan speed and carrying capacity is an absolute must. So you have both of those at 20. That is 200 points right there. Your silver production in the city, absolutely necessary. That's another 100 points. Warehouse capacity, another 100 points. And then construction speed, I have this all the way up here for now, like, when I first did it. I don't even need this in all honesty because I'm done with construction. I'm done with research speed. My silver alt is complete. So if I wanted to, I could hit reset talent points and put them more into my archaeology section. That would probably be a good idea, but so be it. We'll get there. Tile bonus, absolutely mandatory. It's level 1. So let's see. So we have 4 levels of tile bonus. So figure you're spending 80 points right there. All right. So with research and construction for now, yes, that was necessary when I was going through and building it up. Food production was necessary when I was going through and fighting, but at this point, I don't really need it. So, in all honesty, once I'm completely done, which I'm just doing touch-ups at this point, but it's essentially done. I can get rid of all food production. I can get rid of all construction speed, all of the research speed. That is another 300 points that therefore I can sink into, like my archaeology section. Tile bonus is absolutely mandatory. And if you notice now, we're in section 2. So the ones that you absolutely need to have when you are done with this section and done with fighting, building, construction, research, everything would be caravan speed, caravan carrying capacity, silver production, warehouse, and tile bonus. So figure 480 points. And then if you add in just the mandatory 1111111s across the board and everything, you're probably sitting about 500, 510 or something like that. But yes, you can go through and skinny that down from 790, where we have the research speed, the construction speed, and then also my food production in the city. I could get rid of all of that. That's another 300 points. So, what, 490, I guess? Roughly 500. Let's just say 500. All right, archaeology and all. This is basically, some of it is mandatory, some of it is completely up to your choice and everything. Now, granted, if I have another 300 and, or if I have another 300 points that I can move over here, or 290 ish or something like that, then I'm going to go through and just add it all throughout archaeology. I'm not going to put it into battle tactics because I'm not going to battle anything at that point. So let's go through and look exactly what is mandatory. We're going to start at the back and work our way to the front. I usually like to do 1 all the way across the screen, and then have it to where I work backwards whenever it comes down to tactics. So epic crypts, absolutely necessary. Rare crypts, efficiency, and also common crypt efficiency. Those are all necessary. And then also the exploration cost, and exploration cost. Get those all down. Not really that mandatory. Not really that mandatory. Bonus experience in a crypt is absolutely mandatory, and there's 5 of those. So figure right now you basically have hit, like 30, I'm sorry, 63 plus the 100 from this. So you got 163. Tire production, that is a luxury, but if you can do it, that would be the first luxury I would do. We have another set of these, so figure another 63. So we're at, oh gosh, my math sucks. 226. And then we got still the same things. Crypt exploration. This is another 60 points that you're going to need. So we're at 326. And then we got another set of this. So we're going to do another 63. So 389. And I think roughly, I mean, granted, there's common, efficiency, but I think I added that in. So at the very bare minimum, I think 389 points would basically be what is needed for archaeology, but anything above that would definitely be a bonus. Um, Now, since I have those extra, roughly 300 points and everything, I'm going to move them on over here. So my archaeology will definitely be bigger and everything, but, it's perfectly fine. As long as you have the absolute mandatories for each one of these and all, you're good. If you decided like, hey, I have the extra 300 points, I have the extra, whatever points, and I'm not even going to do that much archaeology and everything at that point, yeah, you can add it on up to battle tactics if you ever decide to fight again. But what is better is because of the fact that a lot of times you'll see where you get these reset talent aspects as part of the prizes from your clan, don't even like worry about switching to battle mode later on. Like you got done with battle, you go through and pump up the economy and archaeology, and then you could go back to battle on later on if you decide to go through and spend some more money or actually be an active, fighter in this game on one of your silver alts. But that's time taking away from your main, which is probably not a very good idea. All right, any other thing as far as for importance, it just depends upon how much you've developed your guys in order to see whether or not you can actually go through and add to this area. Like, whether or not you balanced it out and actually have it to where it's a little bit from each, whatever. Like, I think for this one, if I got Farhad on up to 110, that would be awesome, but, whatever. This section, I don't have that much armor left because of the fact that I was, very particular about what I did. You do have it to where, like, I did do Spy of Togor, for my hero and everything, just because gaining hero levels, this is the absolute best way in order to do it, is if you have Spy of Togor. So I would definitely advise everybody to at least have him. And then after that, like I gained a few different things, or a few different frames along the way, but not as though any of them were really necessary. And then I didn't go through and really do too much when it came down to this. For this fortress, I think I get maybe a little bonus. I don't know, but it's mainly in strength or whatever. Whenever you do the monthly, bonuses on the cities, I'm not going to have this as a permanent thing, so I wasn't really worried about it. But, okay, so hero, we're done. Captains, you know what exactly you need. For captains wise, if your main or your other accounts is basically supporting this account, then you really don't need to do anything but here's the captains that I would totally advise that you make sure that you do. If you can buy Hercules, it's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it on a silver roll. Now, granted, you have the resources that you spend that's $50. You get a Merc package that's $100, and then you get Hercules for $100 and everything. So you spend $250 in the process, and then you're buying a few Merc packages in order to try and get the the Ragnarok done, trying to get Hellforge done, trying to get Armageddon done. So you can, I mean, like a proper silver alt, if you don't want to spend a huge amount of time on it, you can get it done for, let's say, $600 to $1,000, roughly. If you're doing it the long, extended way and everything, then yeah, it will probably cost you less. But I did it for about, I think it was like $800 or so. And all the building supplies and everything I got from my main, so I did save a lot of money and time that way. So store ore is great to have and everything, but if you're not going to be gathering building supplies, it's not a real big deal if you have them or don't have them. Mandatory ones that you utterly desperately need to have, which I absolutely find this hilarious that I'm even looking at it. Okay, so you do need Helen just for training troops, and also she does a real good job as far as like raising your farm aspect to where you can actually support some troops. You do need Aurora, you do need Farhad. Those guys are absolutely necessary whenever you do a silver alt and try and complete it. If you don't do Hercules, you need Cleopatra. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. She is awesome when it comes down to things. She's good for both epics and she's also good for just regular fighting. So she is an absolute must have. Carter is a must have. And then after that, like I would advise you to have, Ada and either Minamoto or Alexander or gosh, I can't remember her name, but this lady, and then or Leonidas and everything. It depends upon which one pops up with your summonings and everything. As far as like this is the best way in order to do like if you did Shadow Invasion one time, or if you did like let's say you decide to get Valor points through Arachne, you could do it that way. But that works for your captains. That doesn't really work for your hero, and that's the only reason why it's great in some ways, and in other ways, it's kind of like, a little bit, whatever. So I would say like Cleopatra is a definite must-have. I think there was a package that I got for like $100 in order to get Cleopatra guaranteed. I did that immediately. That was a great use of money, just being honest. And then Carter, absolutely, try and get his research up. Whenever he does pop up on the summoning days, make sure that you hit him very, very hard. And then when it comes down to it, like, so Farhad, Helen, and Aurora, absolute needs. So that's basically that. All right, so we've talked about captains, we talked about the hero practices, we talked about your buildings and everything, as far as which, like, how to get them to look and everything. The final piece I'm really going to talk about is basically your dragon. Now, your dragon is going to raise on its own and all that kind of stuff. I got up to level 150, and I do have it to where I could get him higher, but I basically ran out of dragon eyes and everything, which is perfectly fine. I would basically say if you're doing it in a very efficient, where you're just spending the money and basically doing it quickly, you're going to get it to where your dragon's going to get to probably about 140, 150 or so. If you don't go up to, the next group and everything like that, so be it. I do see the fact that, like, at 150, I can extend my experience points and get an extra 5% on those. Is it really worth it in order to be able to spend the money in order to get that extra bit of dragon orbs? I don't think it is. I mean, it's completely up to you and everything, but I'd probably stop to where 150 was your cap, just being honest. The other thing that you could do is you could take all the different barracks aside from your main one and everything and convert these into basically other building supplies type of areas just for crafts and giggles in order for your long term. So that is something that I'm going to do. I'm going to demolish these other barracks, this one, and this one. Get rid of them, put in more building supplies. I'll probably put one more of each. I'll put like one more of the foundry, one more of the stone cutter or whatever, and then also one more of my lumber mill. And that would probably be the way that I spend those three. You can stop your farm once you get to level 30 and all. I mean, if you guys look around the map, you can kind of see 34 was needed in order to get my capital on the consulate. It was needed in order to get my capital up to 35. My whatchamacallit? My forge, it was needed to get to level 34. my tar mastery level 30. So you see, like, in order to get to 35 on your capital, you do need the academy at 34. You need this, and the consulate in order to basically get that up. But other than that, like building supplies, everything else, like this basically shows you how far you need to go on a silver alt in order to get there. And then after this, like basically what you would want to do is this is the finishing touch and everything. And don't do this until basically the clan that you're in, that you've been growing and progressing in and everything, is basically like, okay, you're not really doing anything at this point. You either do something or we got to kick you out. Or we're running out of space. Do you mind leaving voluntarily rather than us kicking you out? Blah, blah, blah. When you're ready to basically put your account to bed, all right, just stash it away. It can sit in a clan where it has a really good clan building bonus. And a lot of the bigger clans in this game do have these like clans set up to where all the buildings are at level 25. So what I would do is basically look at a clan ranking by kingdom and make sure that your silver alts are staying in the exact same kingdom as your main. When you're moving, if you decide to move your main to a different kingdom, you make sure that you move your silver alts too, because it will make it so much easier. Otherwise, then you basically have to go through and coordinate when the shield a piece is dropping on each one of your accounts and then having it to where you're attacking from one kingdom to another. You can go through and transfer the silver and building supplies that is generating that way, but it just makes it a little bit more difficult. And it also exposes you to other players, as far as like, hey, their shield piece is down. I don't care that they're attacking somebody else. I'm going to go through and hit them and basically steal any silver that they got. So I'm going to go through and like when I'm looking for a clan that would be basically like, hey, I'm going to you know, stash my account someplace to where it's just sitting there and not doing anything. I mean, we have like different ones you could do, play for fun or, beehive. But what you need to do is whenever you click on any one of these, I think I know where I was before. It's been a while. So the one that I'm like, my main is in FOC Bastards and everything. And they do have it to where a lot of times each one of these bigger clans will have a silver alt where you stash and everything. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Sorry, guys. Me and names, we just don't get along. Okay, so not Teddy's Teddy's Cave. I'd love to see what exactly this is. Um, yeah, I don't know. Oh gosh. Let's see. No. Wasn't Total Battle. I know for BNF and everything, they have one called BNS and everything. That's basically their way of stash. Claymore Academy, Be the Hive, Play for Fun. But you gotta basically like one other thing that you could do is like go into the clan chat or I'm sorry, kingdom chat and just basically ask like, hey, is there any clan that I could stash my silver alt in? Don't expect it to really do anything, but yeah. Not SOA. I was there. Let's see. Oh, like Shield. Okay. So I think Sword has it to where this one is basically like all about their silver alts. That's all that they basically do is put their like silver alts in here. I mean, granted, I know it's designated for swords, so they probably are going to be like particular about that, but whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I'll find the exact clan and everything like that, but look for clans that basically have like little to no expectations about anything and that also their clan buildings are at level 25. Like, do your research. So if I was looking at like, let's say BSC or whatever, and then I wanted to find, like, you could always go through another thing that you could do before you ever sign up for a clan. I don't know if I've ever talked to you guys about this, but If I haven't, I apologize. Go through and click on a clan area and then look at their clan buildings. Like, okay, what's their capital at? Okay, this is at 25. That's cool. Let me see some of the people that are in this. Let's say this person. They're in ILB or lib, sorry. So then at that point, like, okay, if they have a 25 capital, then probably the rest of them are 25. That means that they're probably giving you a max bonus on different things when it comes down to, like, that the clan gets as far as titles and bonuses and everything else. So, like, the one that I'm currently in right now, they have an army strength, they have a march speed, troop training speed, food production. What you want to look for is one that, like, hey, let's say, silver production, like ones that, hey, can you just keep on pumping out silver production as far as part of it? And so it might be to where, like, increases allies silver production for 7 days, only affects cities within the clan's territory. So you could go through and, like, basically pump up, like, this is a clan bonus on the clans that you want to be in when you're stashing. You want to have it to where they are constantly going through and putting in that silver production and putting it up, so that this way it's helping out the clan overall. So that would basically be the stash part. All right, with that being said, I think I've exhausted a silver alt way too much and everything, but if you learn something out of this, I greatly appreciate it. I've been getting different messages from people all over the place and everything. Just send them to Leffinan, Lefinan. If you're trying to figure out where the heck I am, I'll show you. So if you look in Kingdom 100 and you want to go through and get a hold of me, I am right here. Kingdom 100 455 837. That is the way that you can directly get in contact with me. I respond to these so much more than I ever do on checking back at the videos. Like, I don't care about video counts. I don't care about subscribers. I do this in order to try and help other players. So I'm not really trying to, like, make money out of this or anything, but this is what I do. So if you want to follow me, subscribe, hit the like button, all that kind of stuff, great. If you don't want to, I don't care. If you don't like my videos, I don't care either. But if you want to get a hold of me, go through and message me here at Leffinan. It's Kingdom 100 455 837. And like, this way, if you want to go through and say, hey, thank you for the videos, or if, like, a lot of people, they might say, like, hey, I watch your videos, but I also have a question. If you have questions, just send them to me. Like, I have no problem with answering your questions. I'm usually very good about responding to them within a day at most, as far as the, like, longest time before I go through and answer them, because I play every day and I'm constantly going through and checking my, messages. So hopefully you guys got something out of this video. I'm going to do another video right after this. It'll probably be over Merc exchanges. So you guys have a good day. With that being said, bye-bye. All right, find this line and stop.